Welcome back, guys. It is home makeover time. In today's video, I am showing you my daughter's remade over room and I'm so excited about it. And we'll also be focusing on the feature wall or accent wall that I did. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so if you have been following this journey, then you know these few things I'm about to say, but I'm gonna say them anyway in case you're new to the party. But we started when we bought our house in November by removing the popcorn ceilings and ripping out all of the carpet. So her room was included in that. All of our rooms on the top floor are the bedrooms and we have carpet in all of them. So we ripped it all out and put in fresh carpet in all of those rooms. And it's super cute. So beyond that, for her room, we went ahead and changed out all of the electrical outlets, the switches, and the light fixtures, which by we, I mean Austin did that. And we got some really cool light fixtures for her room. Austin searched for a long time to pick the perfect one, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you the flower fan light that he found for her. We love this. She loves this. It does have it's LED, so it does have the different tones of lighting in it. You can make it brighter, you can make it duller. It has a little fan on it that's perfect just for what she needs in there, and we love it. So I'm going to be linking all of our fixtures, closet organizers, and all of that stuff in my links below. So in the description below, it'll have my affiliate links. This is through Amazon, so basically if you were to make a purchase through them, they kick a little bit back to me. Not a lot, but a little bit. So I will have all of that linked below, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I will say this particular fan it's not the easiest thing to put together. There's a lot of parts and the instructions are a little but Austin was able to figure it out and we love it. You're probably gonna hear my daughter in the background, but that's because she loves her new room and she's having a great time. So, all right, moving forward, patching walls, sanding everything, and prepping. So for the trim, before we got the carpet put in, we went ahead and did all of the baseboards in the entire upstairs. That way it was already painted before the carpet went in and we wouldn't have to worry about getting paint that close to the carpet. So those were done, but I still had to do all of the frames and window seals and things. So I did that by priming it first with a primer and then painting it by using, the Behr interior satin. It's just bright white. We really like this. We've enjoyed it, and it took 3 coats. So a coat of primer and then 3 coats of that because we have had really dark wood frames in all of this. So we did all of the trim and then it was time to actually paint her walls. Now we had gone through and patched everything the best we could. In her closet, we did pull out the shelving unit that was in there because it was very loose and very sketchy. We would have had to completely taken it off and rehung it, or what we did was take it out, patch all of those holes, and then replace it with a better organizer and kind of scale that closet to be a little bit better and multi-purposed for us. So she has a really, really large walk-in closet, with a window because what 4-year-old doesn't need that? But actually it's so perfect. My daughter does happen to have special needs, so we do have medical supplies and things that this closet has been great for, to be able to organize that and have a little bit more space. So we got this really nice just like little closet organizer from Amazon. It's like metal framed with just like black shelving, and it's perfect for what she needs. She doesn't have a ton of hanging clothes. We do have a nice big dresser for her in her room, so this allows us to hang up the things that need to be hung. Her toy box can sit right on top of it, and I did get a couple of storage like little units from Target. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's the little box organizers. I got some of the cloth ones and then just some plastic ones from there to help organize everything on that. And then we do have like a cube organizer that my friend Lisa gave to me for her nursery. So I still have that from her original nursery setup, with also some of those like cloth cubes from Target. So that's where all of that came from, and that's what we're going to be using in her closet to organize. So again, back to patching and painting. We went ahead and did that, cut everything in and painted the walls. We did have to prime the one wall. It was like this really deep blue. So we did throw a primer on that when we were priming the windowsills and things before painting. And then after we put on the new color, which is a Sherwin-Williams Gentle Grape in a satin finish, it showed a lot of places that we had missed. So we went ahead and went back over and repatched, and then it also showed a lot of texture on the wall, like a bunch of bumps and, you know, previous runs and just all kinds of stuff that was on there. So what I did is when I was patching and then going back through and sanding all of those patches, I just ran my sander all over the wall just to knock all of that texture back down and to get rid of it. So at first I was like, well, is this left over from the popcorn ceiling scrape? Because we wiped the walls multiple times. We even mopped, like we took a mop and we mopped all of our walls. So I really don't think it was from that. It did have like the old paint colors over top of it. So I just think it was built up over time. So I just, like I said, took like a medium grit sandpaper and just sanded the entire wall. It didn't take me long. I was literally just doing a quick wipe, and it looked so much better whenever we went back through the second time. So we did do 2 coats of the Gentle Grape, and we love this color. I was a little bit concerned that it might be too much at first, but my goal for our bedrooms and I picked this paint out back in November, so it's currently March. I hadn't opened the can since then. Like, I went in, picked our colors. I wanted our bedrooms to be more moody and like calming and comforting, and so this tint of purple I seem to be drawn to when it comes to Sophia, and I think it's just because that's her aura. Like, she's just putting off this color. Her wheelchair seat's this color, she has jackets in this color, like her wall colors are this color. Like, we are just drawn to it when it comes to her hearing aids. Like, I can name so many things, so it's just so perfect. And when we started putting on there, we all just fell in love and we're like, no, this is it. So thought about painting her closet a different color. Again, worried it would be too much. No, we went all in with the Gentle Grape because we love it. So after we put that second coat on, everything was looking really good, and it was time to do the accent wall. Now, I was so excited for this part. I had a vision in my head back in November when we were kind of walking through the house, kind of pre-planning each room and what we wanted to do, because we wanted to kind of remake our entire house. Like, we knew that the setup and the structure and everything about the house was perfect for us. It just was not our style at all and just needed a lot of like updating. And so we walked through and kind of pre-planned everything, or the ideas that we had. That way, whenever we came to that room, it wouldn't be so overwhelming, and we've literally taken it room by room. And you can go back and see, I do have videos of all of our room makeovers to this point. And so I had envisioned this wall for the past like 3 months, and then it finally came time for me to do the wall, and I started freaking out and second guessing myself, and I was like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna have to come up with something else, because I couldn't, like, I can visualize it in my head, and usually when I do that, I can create whatever it is. But I was just feeling so like unsure, and I'm really not sure, and I can't find this anywhere. Like, I've tried to Google multicolor wall and everything, and all you see are the taped blocked off walls, and that's not at all what I was wanting to go for. Couldn't find anything. I came across, I don't even remember her name, it's a lady on TikTok, I'll post it right here, but she had something that was the closest to anything of what I was wanting to do, and hers still wasn't what I was looking for, but it was really good for me to see. So I saw her video and I was like, oh my gosh, there it is. So with what I was seeing with what she did, I loved it, but it wasn't exactly it, but it allowed me to move forward and trust my gut that no, this is gonna look great. So I'm wanting to do a multicolor kind of like swatchy wall, like blurry wall. I don't know how to explain it. I just know it's in my head and I need to get it out. Now, she has this really cool multicolor rug that Austin got her for her birthday last year, 2 years ago, I'm not sure at this point. And those were the colors that I'm going to be playing off of to put on this wall. So I went to Home Depot and picked up a few colors. Now, I am going to be using the Gentle Grape that we have just kind of as a spacer color, and then the color that we used for our bathroom, which I think it's Beguiling Mauve, I think is how you say it, and it's like a grayish purple color. And then I picked up 4 additional colors. Now I'm gonna read off my paper because I don't want to get them wrong. So the first 2 colors are Sherwin-Williams colors. they're also satin finishes, and then the rest of these are satin finishes, but they're Behr products, and they're the Marquee line. So I just got sample sizes of these, and okay, so we have the Behr Parasol, which is a very, very, very light pink. Like, it's mostly white with a like hint of pink to it. And then pink Poisies, which is a pink color, which when I had the two cards there, and I just held those two, like whenever they do the little dot on top of your lid up next to each other, they looked very different and like what I wanted. But then when I actually started painting them on the wall, they were kind of too close and you couldn't tell the difference. So what I did was took some of my acrylic like apple barrel paint in Pink Parfait, and I just kind of put a layer on the top of that sample, and then I swirled that in to get a little bit of a deeper pink. That way you can actually tell it was pink to get the color that I was wanting. So it's Pink Poisies with Pink Parfait mixed until I got the tint that I wanted, because I didn't want to have to go back and pay. I mean, I think they were each $6 for each sample. So I didn't want to pay $6 when I could just create the tint that I wanted to. So that's what I did. And then I have a turquoise-ish color. It's called Big Surf. And then a blue color, which is called Big Chill. And those are the 6 colors that I'm going to be using for this wall. While we're at it, I'm going to skip through and make sure I covered everything, because I have a little list on a scrap piece of that I was looking at originally to make sure that I covered everything, but so far so good. We're getting to the fun part, and probably the reason you clicked into the video. So okay, the other things that I'm gonna use to complete this is that I'm using 2 chip brushes, kind of like a medium size. I think they were like 2.5 to 3 inch brushes. I made a little palette out of a little wooden tray that I have in aluminum foil, so that I could have like a bit of each color there at the ready when I needed it. A mister, that with like a sprayer bottle with a really, really fine mist. That way I can use it to kind of help spread the paint, and I'll show you that and explain that in a minute. Because an actual water bottle that sprays, I didn't want a heavy water on there to where it might drip, because I don't want any runs or anything. Okay, and then I have a tarp down because, again, brand new carpet, and we don't want any oopsie daisies, and some painter's tape. And I'm just using the painter's tape to cover the 2 outlets that are on the wall, to make sure that if I am misting or anything, I don't get any water in or on those. They are tamper proof, so when you see a picture of my daughter laying there by it, don't come for me. She's not going to mess with it, and it's tamper proof on purpose so that she can't put her little fingers or anything in there. But I'm gonna tell you right now, she won't. So anyway, so I put painter's tape along the bottom of the baseboard too. That way I could get really close without bumping it at all. So those are the things that I'm using for this project, and then we're just gonna get into it. So what I want is I want vertical lines, and I want blotches. They end up being a little bit more diamond shaped throughout, I guess. So I started and I just kind of went in, and I'm just going to take my brush with it vertical, and I'm going to just kind of like hit it in lines and make swatches or splotches of this paint. And then if it gets a little bit too many like very visual lines, I guess. I'm sorry guys, I'm going to try to talk through this. I'm trying to get from my brain out of my mouth, and that's not something I can accomplish. So so I'm just going through, and then when I need it to blend a little more, like if it looks like there are like very harsh lines, I'm just gonna lightly mist it, turn it horizontal, and kind of like brush it over, and that paint will kind of just like smear, and you'll still kind of see those lines, but it'll kind of blend them together. And then from there, so I'm using 2 different chip brushes. So if it was like a pink or purple color, I would use that brush, and if it was one of the blues or turquoises, I would use that brush, because the blues will take over. So I would just kind of intermix and go from one color to the next. So if I started with blue, then I'd maybe move to turquoise, and then to pink, and then whatever. And I just kind of did it randomly. I tried not to make it super symmetrical. And I will say, as I went, I did have to take a step back, because they went from being very like abstract to very harsh diamond shapes. And so I had to go back in and kind of add another line or two here or blend this out there. So just if you're wanting to try this, just make sure you take a step back because it all does become one big blur after you're staring at it for a while. It did take me, I think, 3 hours total to do this entire wall, but it's a big wall. So again, I just did multiple different colors every, tried to not have the same color touching. And if I got to a point where it was like none of the colors really needed to go there, that's when I brought the actual wall color back in. So I would just use that same chip brush that I've been using for those pinks and purples, and I would do it, and it would have a little bit of residual from the previous paints so that it would leave kind of streaks, but it would be that wall color. So you could tell that I did something there without like it just disappearing into the wall, I guess. So it kind of looked the same. It just didn't look like I missed a spot. So I just did that over and over and over all through the wall. I did clean my brushes 2 to 3 different times because after you go for a while, it kind of gets a little clumpy, and I just went and kind of like scraped those clumps off, cleaned it out, and then started fresh. That way I wasn't having any weird like marks on the wall from where there was dried paint. And I don't know, I love this. The ceiling and the baseboards were the hardest part. I tried really hard not to like, how do I explain this? So, if I'm doing kind of diamond or longer shapes, some of them I would leave a point where the ceiling is, and some of them I would start like halfway. And it was really hard to get my brush up there to make it kind of all look the same. So it's a little iffy. And for me, kind of just making this up from my head and trying it for the first time, I'm very proud of how it turned out. So like I said, I just went through, and any place that I kind of saw that like, oh, this needs to blend out a little bit, I'd go back and like hit it with some more paint, or I'd do a little bit more misting of water and kind of blend it a little more. And I tried to change the shapes up a little bit so that like I just found myself, you naturally try to go symmetrical. Like my subconscious was like, oh, we're doing it. And then I'd step back and be like, oh, these are very clearly diamonds. That's not what I was trying to do. So I'd go back in and break up those patterns, and again, just over and over. So I'm sorry if I'm not explaining this really well, but feel free to ask me about it in the comments. But I would love to hear what you guys think about this, the colors we chose, this, the wall design, I guess, because like I said, I haven't seen this anywhere else. I tried to research to give myself a better visual. I couldn't find it anywhere, so I'm very proud of how it turned out. It was a lot of work. My shoulder was so sore. It's just constant, over and over and over. And my daughter loves it. Bless her heart. So once that was all good and I removed the tape and everything and got everything cleaned up, I did bring her in once it was dry to let her check it out, and she scooted right on over there, and she was tapping on it, and she was rubbing the wall and just like looking at it and doing her little happy wiggles and stuff. So it melted my heart to know that like all that work I just put in was worthwhile because she is enjoying it. So that was the big thing that we did in her room. She does have a TV in there as well with a miniature like entertainment center. My daughter cannot like pull up or stand up or anything. So for now this works. Obviously as she grows and adapts and develops, things in her room will, we'll make sure things are mounted. We'll make sure that things can't tip over and fall on her. So again, don't come for me. Her room is designed for what works best for her now. And then as she progresses, her room will progress. So this little mini entertainment center was perfect. Austin got this for her for Christmas because she loves watching her show. And since she is mostly like sitting on the ground or laying on the ground, he wanted it to be at her eye level so that she can really enjoy it. So it does have like little twisties, like levelers. So he did level it to where it's slightly tilted back. That way, if for some reason she did like come over and kick it or something, which the TV's really heavy, it doesn't, like you'd have to really, really do something to it to get it to move. Trust me, we were like kicking it ourselves to make sure that it wasn't going to go anywhere. But that way, if it does for some reason try to move, it's more likely to tilt backwards because it's heavier in the backside and that stand is slightly tilted back. That way it would more encourage it. But I promise you, her safety is my number one, and we will make sure things are mounted and safe for her. All of her outlets in her room are tamper proof, so we got it all taken care of. Don't worry about us. So I think that's everything. Again, her closet organizers, that small entertainment center, her light fixtures, will all be down in the description below. I will also list all of the paints that I used for this if you like any of the colors. Again, the purples are going to be from Sherwin-Williams and all the others are a Behr product. So please, please, please let us know what you think about her room. Like, she is the most spoiled little girl. I even still have her little name, Sophia. It has those same like multicolor brush strokes that I did for her original nursery. Again, she's 4.5. I thought about painting over it to make it match her room now, but it's just so nostalgic and means so much to me that I kept it, and it's hanging in her closet now, along with some of her stuff from her original nursery. So I love her room. I love the design of it. I'm so happy that she has a space that's hers. I will also link her bed railings for any of my special needs mamas out there who are curious. I know that looking into a bed to grow with your child is such a hard thing. So we do have those like bumper rail pillows under her sheets. And then we do have these mesh like up and down closures to kind of make it a big crib. And then her bed is a full-size bed with a normal full-size mattress. So if you're curious about any of that, we did get those mesh things off of Amazon and they have been great for us as well. So her bed is her original crib. That is one of those that grows. So it does have the higher edges, which you'll see here. And again, this is a very targeted person, but I had a really hard time trying to find the right bed for her as she was growing, and it was a whole emotional roller coaster. But this worked out great because it still has those high crib railings. And then we have that mesh along the edge now that it comes up and down, and we can get her in and out very easily. I know she's safe and won't roll out of the bed. So I digress on that. Again, please leave a comment below on how you feel about these. What do you think about the colors? What do you think about the accent wall? I would love to hear. Again, this was from my brain for the last couple months, and then I panicked and I was like, I can't do it. And then 3 hours in, I was like, I love it so much. So hit the thumbs up button, leave us a comment, consider subscribing. I'm going to take you guys in for a closer look, and I'll see you next time.